Hi everyone, welcome back to Betrayed. Thank you for being here with us today. We have a brand new story to share, so let's get started. We truly appreciate your support. Where are you tuning in from today? We always enjoy seeing where these wild stories are shared from. Now, let's get into today's cheating wife story. For the longest time, I believed I was a good husband, the kind of man who trusted easily and always gave others the benefit of the doubt. I wasn't someone who checked my wife's phone or questioned her every move. I didn't feel jealousy or create unnecessary drama. To me, love meant trust, and I thought that was enough. My wife, Vanessa, wasn't a bad person. In many ways, she was charming and full of life. But she had a habit, one I ignored for far too long. She liked to test limits, to push boundaries, just to see how far she could go before I said something. Sometimes it was small things, spending a bit too much on stuff we didn't need or staying out later than she said she would. I told myself it was harmless, not worth arguing about. But other times, I felt something different, a silent challenge in her eyes, as if she was waiting to see if I would ever stand up for myself. And then there was Jake. I knew his type. I had seen it before. Jake was, according to Vanessa, just a friend, but not just any friend. He was her ex. And no matter how much time had passed, I knew one thing. Men like Jake don't stick around without a reason. They wait quietly in the background, pretending to be supportive friends, hiding their true intentions. I told Vanessa more than once that I didn't trust him. I wasn't being jealous without cause. But every time I brought it up, she brushed me off. "You're overthinking it," she'd say. "He's just a friend, Richard. Stop being so insecure." Honestly, he's like a brother to me. All the typical responses. Always the same reassurances. And I wanted to believe her, so I let it go, again and again. But trust has its limits. And one day, she was about to learn exactly where mine ended. It was a quiet evening. Vanessa and I were sitting in the living room, the soft hum of the TV filling the silence. She was scrolling through her phone, casually chatting about her day when she mentioned something, like it was just another piece of small talk. "Some of my old friends are planning a weekend trip. A beach house in the Bahamas. Just catching up, relaxing, reliving old memories." On the surface, it sounded innocent. I had never been the type to control where she went or who she spent time with. We had always respected each other's independence, the freedom to live our own lives while sharing them together. But then she said something that made my stomach twist. "Jake's going too." The moment she said his name, I knew this wasn't just casual conversation. There was something in her tone, a slight pause, like she was waiting to see how I'd react. She was watching to see if I'd tell her not to go. And that's exactly what she wanted. For years, I had warned her about Jake, not because I was paranoid, but because I understood exactly what he was. Jake wasn't just some harmless friend. He was a man waiting for his chance. And I wasn't going to keep pretending I didn't see it. But this time, I didn't react the way Vanessa expected. I didn't argue. I didn't remind her why Jake was a problem. I didn't bring up all the times I had let things slide before. I just looked at her and said, in a calm and steady voice, "If you go, don't bother coming back." She blinked, clearly surprised. Then she laughed. "God, Richard, you're so dramatic," she said, rolling her eyes and smirking like I was being ridiculous. Then came the usual defenses, the same ones she always used whenever I expressed concern. "You're overreacting. Jake's just a friend. You really need to stop being so insecure." Still, I didn't fight. I didn't raise my voice. "Do what you want," I said simply. And I meant it. She thought I was bluffing, like always. She had no idea that this time, I was absolutely serious. The morning of her trip, she moved through the house like nothing had changed, humming to herself as she packed, carefully folding her clothes, checking her phone from time to time, probably replying in the group chat. Every now and then, she glanced at me, expecting me to say something, to remind her of what I'd said. But I stayed quiet. I just watched. When she finished packing, she wheeled her suitcase to the front door. She walked over, leaned down, and gave me a quick kiss on the cheek, the same way she always did before a trip. "Love you," she said lightly, brushing off my warning like it had never happened. Then, without hesitation, she grabbed her keys and walked out the door. I didn't say a word. I didn't have to. I just watched from the window as she placed her suitcase in the taxi, climbed into the passenger seat, and disappeared down the road. The moment she was gone, I picked up my phone. It was time to set everything in motion. I stood up, took a deep breath, and got to work. I had already made my decision. Now it was time to act on it. First, the locks. I had scheduled a locksmith the day before, knowing this moment would come. Within an hour, the house was fully secured. The keys Vanessa kept in her purse were now useless. She would return expecting everything to be exactly as she left it, but instead, she'd find a locked door and a home that no longer welcomed her. Next, her belongings. I walked into our bedroom and looked at her side of the closet, the vanity crowded with perfumes and the drawers filled with her neatly folded clothes. One by one, I packed it all: her dresses, her shoes, the makeup she used every morning. Every item she left behind was carefully packed in boxes, labeled, and ready to be delivered to her parents' house. I didn't want to give her a reason to come back, not even for a forgotten sweater. And finally, the last step, the divorce papers. I picked up my phone and called my lawyer. "I'm ready," I said. "Make it official." There was no hesitation in my voice, no second-guessing, and no regret. This wasn't an empty threat. Vanessa had spent years thinking she could test my limits, break boundaries, and I would always forgive her. She believed she had me figured out, that I'd complain, maybe give her the silent treatment, but eventually let it go. But this time was different. This time I was finished. For the rest of the day, I moved through the house with quiet determination. The home we once shared felt different now, lighter, freer. The weight of doubt, mistrust, and years of ignoring my instincts had finally lifted. By the time I went to bed that night, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. Vanessa thought she was off on a fun getaway. She had no idea that when she returned, her world would be completely different. She had made her choice, and now she would have to live with the consequences. In the days after she left, I didn't think about Vanessa much. As far as I was concerned, she was part of my past. The decision had been made. The preparations were done. I was ready to move forward. I assumed she was still at the beach house, sipping cocktails, laughing with friends, completely unaware that her home was no longer hers. But then, on the fourth day, 3 days earlier than planned, she came back. The first sign was a notification on my phone. The security camera at the front door had picked up movement. Curious, I opened the live feed. There she was. Vanessa stood on the porch, bags at her feet, looking relaxed as she reached for the doorknob. She turned it, expecting to walk in like nothing had changed. But the door wouldn't open. She frowned, tried again, then again, and again. I watched as confusion spread across her face. Her eyebrows furrowed as the truth began to sink in. She leaned closer to the lock, examining it. And in that moment she understood. It had been changed. Her hand flew to her phone, and seconds later, mine started ringing. I let it ring a few times before answering. "Richard," she said, her voice already shaking. "The door won't open." I kept my tone calm and distant. "You don't live here anymore." Silence. I could hear her breathing, uneven, panicked, as she tried to process what I had just said. "Your things are at your parents' house," I continued. "Expect the divorce papers in a week or two." More silence. Then her voice came back, this time desperate. "Richard, please wait, let me just..." I ended the call before she could finish. Seconds later, my phone buzzed again. I saw her name flash across the screen. Once, twice, 3 times. I ignored them all. Then came the messages. "Richard, please talk to me. I messed up, I'm so sorry. It's not what it looks like." I stared at my phone as the notifications piled up. I wasn't angry. I wasn't even sad. I felt nothing. This was the same woman who had laughed in my face when I asked her not to go. The same woman who kissed me goodbye, so confident I wouldn't do a thing about it. And now she was begging. Another message popped up. "Please pick up. There's something I need to tell you." I checked the camera feed again. Vanessa was pacing on the porch, her face red, her hands shaking. She looked panicked now, running her fingers through her hair, probably trying to figure out how everything had fallen apart so quickly. Then the messages stopped. Instead, she sent a voice note. I hesitated for a moment before playing it. The moment I heard her voice, I knew this wasn't just guilt or regret. This was fear. Her voice came through the speaker, shaky and trembling. Richard, please listen to me.
You were right about Jake.
I should have listened. I swear I didn't expect this to happen. She paused, took a shaky breath, and continued, her words rushed and broken by sobs. I drank too much, and when I woke up something happened. Jake, he recorded it. He's blackmailing me. Her voice cracked, and I could hear the panic rising in her tone. I didn't want you to find out like this. I didn't know what to do. Please, Richard. I need you. I sat there listening, her desperate voice filling the silence of my home. She was scared now, not just because she'd made a mistake, but because she had lost control. The man she had trusted had betrayed her, and now she wanted me to help pick up the pieces. Maybe once I would have. Maybe, in the past, I would have let my heart soften and told myself that love meant forgiveness. But that version of me, the man who ignored his instincts, who let himself be disrespected time and time again, was gone. I typed out one final message. Enjoy your life, Vanessa. You made your choice. Now live with it. Then I blocked her. That was it, the final chapter in a story I should have ended long ago. I never looked back. I didn't check on her, didn't ask mutual friends for updates. I moved on. She had spent years thinking she could test my boundaries, and I'd always forgive her. She was wrong. From what I heard, her life unraveled pretty quickly. Her parents weren't pleased. They didn't know all the details, but they knew enough. They knew she had walked away from a good marriage, that she had ignored my warning, that when she came back, she found herself locked out of the life she thought she still had. Her father, who had always respected me, who had seen me as a steady man who took care of his daughter, was furious. Now he was forced to take her in, because she had nowhere else to go. Her friends weren't much better. A few of them reached out, trying to defend her actions. Richard, she's really sorry. You don't have to throw everything away over one mistake. At least talk to her. I ignored every message. They didn't have to live with her choices.
I did.
And then there was Jake, the man she had risked everything for. The moment things started falling apart, he disappeared. When Vanessa said he had recorded her without consent, he knew what that meant. He ghosted her completely. The man she chose over me wouldn't even answer her calls. So, there she was alone, ashamed, and full of regret. Meanwhile, I moved forward. I focused on my work, my life, and my future. I refused to waste a single second wondering if she missed me, or if she finally realized how badly she had messed up. But deep down, I already knew. Some mistakes can't be undone. Some choices come with consequences you can't outrun. Vanessa thought I was bluffing. She thought it was just another warning, another line she could cross without consequences. She was wrong. Some lessons in life come quietly, like a gentle nudge, helping you change direction. Others arrive like a storm, shaking the very ground beneath your feet. This story isn't just about betrayal. It's about boundaries. It's about knowing when enough is truly enough. For years, Richard ignored the warning signs, telling himself that trust meant turning a blind eye, that love meant being patient, even when patience was mistaken for weakness. But trust is a two-way street, and respect should never have to be begged for. Vanessa believed she could keep pushing, that the boundaries Richard set were flexible, open for negotiation. But life has a way of teaching us the hard truth. Some lines, once crossed, can never be redrawn. When someone shows you, again and again, that they don't respect you or value what you bring into their life, the hardest, yet bravest thing you can do is walk away. What about you? Have you ever had to set a boundary that someone refused to respect? Did you reach your breaking point? Share your story in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, take care, and remember, Knowing your worth isn't just about what you're willing to give. It's also about what you will never again accept.